Hello, everyone. I'm Sammy Keats. Thanks for joining us today here at Detour Books for our first author talk with children's book writer Karen Gray Ruelle. Hey, Karen, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for inviting me. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, we're excited about the November 17th of your latest book, Surprising Spies, Unexpected Heroes of World War II.
I am also. Here it is.
Yeah, great cover, too.
Thank you.
So, to give our audience a little background on you, Karen, you have produced several books for children on World War II themes, including The Grand Mosque of Paris, Hidden on the Mountain, and Peter's War. So, I'm curious to know what draws you to the stories of this period in history, specifically for young readers?
So it's funny because initially I had no interest at all in writing about the Holocaust. I really didn't. And a very close friend who became a co-author, Deborah Derlin-Dessay, was traveling in France, and she traveled through this village, Le Chambon-sur-Lignon, which was a place up on a volcanic plateau, very desolate location. And she learned the history of this place. They hid and saved the lives of hundreds and hundreds of Jewish children during the war. And it was a poor rural community of Huguenots, Protestants. So she came back and she said, Karen, we have to write about this. We have to write a children's book about this. And I said, nuh-uh, I'm not writing about the Holocaust. And she said, come on, it's really exciting. And I said, if we can find a way in that makes sense, I would love to do it. And then I came up with the idea of writing the book, which became Hidden on the Mountain, through the eyes of people who had been hidden Jewish children there. And so that's how that started. And as we researched and found these people, adults and older people who had been hidden children, and interviewed them and learned their stories and talked to the rescuers and learned some of their stories, or families of the rescuers, I was hooked. I mean, it was incredible. And what we wanted to do was not tell a story of terror and horror. I mean, yes, the Holocaust was horrific. Genocide is horrific. That's not what we wanted to do. We wanted to tell a story that shows courage, hope, and love in the midst of a nightmare like that. And that's what we strove to do. And that's what I continue to strive to do with my books. So that, I mean, you don't want to horrify children. You want to teach them and have them connect and be empathetic. So, so that's how that happened, and that's how that has continued.
Interesting. And then in terms of Surprising Spies, how did you decide who to include in the book, and how did you conduct your research?
Okay, great questions, because I'm a former librarian and I love doing research, by the way. Some of the people in the book were people that I had already learned about doing research for Hidden on the Mountain and Peter's War, and I guess the Grand Mosque too. It was just, it was fun to focus on them. They were, the people who I focused on were people who I thought the reader would be surprised to learn that this person had been a spy or had become a hero. Okay, so Virginia Hall, who was in Hidden on the Mountain, was an American woman, not that young, who went to France and ended up being the head of a resistance group in the countryside. And she had a wooden leg. She had had a hunting accident and blown off part of her foot, and they had to amputate the lower part of one of her legs. She called her wooden leg Cuthbert. But she was this strong, stubborn woman, smart, and nobody would guess that someone like this would become a spy, and yet she was, and she was a very successful one. So, and I looked for other people who surprised me that they were spies. Okay, like Noor Inayat Khan was a Sufi princess, and she ended up working for the British Secret Service and went over to Paris as a radio operator, Morse code operator, and very dangerous. She was the first woman to go over there to do that. And who would guess that this this petite pacifist. She wrote children's books and poetry about little mice and things, and very sweet, musical. And she was a spy.
Yeah, what a great cover.
Yeah. Josephine Baker worked for the French Secret Service. You know, who knew? And
Yeah.
yeah. So that was what I did. And by accident, someone put me in touch with a Navajo code talker. He passed away a few years ago, Roy Hawthorne, but I got to meet him and talk to him on Skype and learn his story. So he's the unexpected hero amongst the surprising spies. So,
Oh, that's great. Really well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Oh, the layout of the book is so engaging for young children. Will you show us a page spread and do a short reading?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So I already showed you the cover, but let me show you the title page. Features Noor, who I mentioned before, the Sufi princess, and here she is with something called a vinya, I think it's called. It's a musical instrument. I just think that's beautiful, and I love the type they used for the byline there. It looks like an old typewriter.
Yes, that's great.
And that sort of evokes the era. So let me see. So I will read you. I'll read you a little excerpt from Noor's chapter. Okay. So, on a night in mid-June 1943, under a full moon, Noor was flown to France. She was the first woman to be sent by the SOE to France as a wireless operator. Her code name was Madeleine. The pilot dropped her off in a field in the countryside. All she had with her were her French identity card, her ration book, and her pistol. Her transmitters and clothing would be flown in later, along with the 4 boxes of pills given to every agent in case of emergency. One box contained pills that would knock someone out for 6 hours. One had pills to keep her awake if she was exhausted. One had pills that would cause stomach distress in case she had to fake an illness. And the last box contained just one pill with a lethal dose of cyanide. If she was captured and facing torture, all she had to do was bite down on the pill and it would kill her within minutes. For now, she had to make her way to safety. She didn't know that she was already in more danger than she could ever imagine. The resistance member who greeted her plane was a traitor, secretly working for the Nazis. He was about to betray her entire network.
Wow. Yeah, thrilling. And the book also has just different techniques they used, right? Which I think will be really engaging for kids as well. So that's great. Well, listen, thanks so much for coming by today to chat with us. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure.
Yeah, and thanks to all of you out there who joined us today. So look below this video post for the Surprising Spies link. And remember, the release date is November 17th, but you can pre-order the book today at detourbooks.com. See you next time.